So when you start off here, you start even with her, which is great because we've discussed that. But then you almost immediately have a little bit of a deceleration right here as you're waiting for her to find it. So, and she looked like she knew she was supposed to do the weave pulls and everything, but I would say instead of doing a blind cross at the end, you could have still started with her and ran out there and done a front cross before the pulls, and then it would have saved you from, it might have helped her find her entry with more confidence, and also eliminated the blind at the end of the pulls, even though it looked totally fine to me. This part is nice, staying on the outside of this, but she pushes really well, so that part was fine. And the rear cross there, it might have been better. I guess I don't know how she does her teeter normally, but if you have to sort of encourage her down, then I wouldn't be stuck in a situation where you're doing a rear cross on the teeter, but instead you could have just stayed on the right side of the teeter and then done a front as she was coming down, and that might have been more, given her a little bit more drive coming down. This next part is all fine until the A-frame. So here, you drive, and now look, you're putting the brakes on. You can see how you're putting the brakes on to make a turn, but look at where she is. She's already landing. Her front feet are already down. So, your brakes should have been being put on here, and you're still pretty much driving her forward here. So she goes pretty long thinking she's going to go to that tunnel, and then you have to call her back, and then you do a front cross at the bottom of the A-frame, which is fine. But you could have either, from the previous tunnel, gotten farther ahead. I think she would have done really nice if from the previous tunnel, running down that line of jumps to the tire, you would have continued racing ahead, and then as you got to the tire, then you would pull away and do your front cross as she's coming, or maybe even as she's coming out of the tire, but it would have given her more direction for where she was going next than how you had handled it here. Even if your front cross was late here, it would have been a lot more information for her about where to go next. So then we have the turn into the tunnel off the dog walk, which is pretty much a trained cue. You turn your shoulders into her. You turn your shoulders into her, which is a collection cue. And I don't know, maybe this is how you have trained how to do this. I don't know. But if I was turning my shoulders like that into my dog, I would never ask them to then turn away from me and go into the tunnel. And see how your motion, you're still moving parallel to the dog walk. You need to still use motion to get her into the tunnel. So if you were a few steps ahead and were able to take a step towards the tunnel, she might have read it better. But you're still moving parallel. And now you're taking a step towards the tunnel. But she also, I'm sure, saw that finish jump there and was looking at that. So this is nice. She knocks the bar on the double, and I think I've decided it's because she takes off really early for her, and she just, her back foot hits it. And my guess is that she took off so early for it because you were just really running and striding out.